Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Rental, episode 107. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, my name is Ryan, and I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Biff.
What's going on, guys?
All right, if you enjoy our content, check out all the other geeky-related content over at geekade.com, whether it's video games, movies, music, and more. You can find it all over there. Geekade.com. What's your geek? Very special episode. It's been a while since we've had some guests. We are in the presence of a couple Canadian fellas from the Ramble, Record, Repeat podcast. With us today, we've got Chris.
Yeah, hey.
And Fraser.
You always have I'm Chris. Definitely, I'm Chris. He was blushing a little bit. I could see when you were introducing him. He's like, oh, it's so nice. They're saying those nice things about me.
I thought you were going to say we're in the presence of greatness or something. Like you were.
I was waiting for that too.
I know.
I
painted myself into a corner here. Like, I get like really cheesy
the
right off the
presence
bat.
of greatness.
Yeah.
Start playing some Ric Flair music or something.
No, it'd be Bret Hart. That's what it would have to be.
Oh, of course, yes. The best there is.
Nice. Well, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for having us.
So I think before we get too far into it, let's take a moment. You guys want to kind of tell us about your show, kind of how that came together, and just kind of what you guys do. It's monthly podcast, correct? For maybe our listeners who don't know.
Yeah, it's a monthly podcast. We generally try to release is at the end of every month.
Yeah, the last Monday of every month.
We try to. Sometimes it's a little early, sometimes it's a little late. The podcast kind of came about. We were up at Chris's family's cottage. They call it camp. And we were just drinking, cutting logs with a hydraulic wood splitter. And we're like, oh, we should do a podcast. Because we both have had YouTube channels. Chris still does his. I haven't done mine in the longest time. And we just felt that'd be kind of cool just to shoot the shit and talk and kind of like just about everything to do with everything we liked. And we were coming up with names. And at first it was like, we had some weird names. Remember Two Fat Dudes?
Yeah.
But it was like PHAT. And then
I still have the sheet somewhere of all the names we wrote down on the different choices we wanted when we were doing it. I don't know where it is, but I still have it somewhere.
Nice.
And then Ramble, Record, Repeat just stuck because it was Ramble, Record, Repeat, then our three podcasts. It just kind of flowed nicely together. And that's how we started.
You guys come across as the most manliest men ever, where you're like, yeah, we were out just cutting wood with a hydraulic press, drinking some beers. I'm like, yeah, I need to go. I'm like a lumberjack. This is awesome.
Come up, hang with us. We shouldn't have been drinking that much. The best is when Chris's son came over. He's like, hey, can I try? And we're like, I don't even know if we should be doing this.
We're not qualified.
What is it that Derek said? We judge the jobs by how many beers it is. It was about
it's a 10
an 8
beer
job each.
Love that.
Nice. So how many episodes are you guys about like a year and a half now? Is that about right?
No. We're 3 years on.
Is it that long? Gosh.
Yeah.
Episode 30, right? I think is the one we just recorded. No,
it's 30 something. We went over this like 2 episodes ago when we didn't know the number, and now it's happening again, and I'm embarrassed.
I get it though. Time flies because I always feel like we've been doing this for a year or two, and I'm like, oh, it's been 4. Like, really?
Yeah, it's just nice, and it's for us. It's like just ends up being like a phone conversation almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like
a nice way to catch up and just shoot the shit, as Fraser said. And we used to have like a plan of, okay, we want to talk about this. And we still kind of do, but it's a lot more relaxed now. We don't really have notes or set plans unless it's something we pre-plan. Like when we did the one episode where we did the video game bad guys, or just bad guys in general episode, where we just pitted bad guys against each other and talked to see, okay, who would win in this fight versus this fight, and did like the bracket challenge. So that was all planned out besides who won, but yeah.
Nice.
And then also what was the other one we did? The Halloween one where I got you to guess the the theme songs to the movies, the TV shows and stuff. That was all pre-planned and stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, it is episode 30. I stand corrected.
See, I told you.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, no, you guys have a really good dynamic, and I think you guys' situation is probably like ours, where it's like you guys aren't too greatly separated, but like you're far enough that getting together on a regular basis is tough with schedules and families. So having that dedicated time to just get on a video call and, like you said, catch up is nice.
Yeah, we're on a good day about 2 hours apart.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 hours. I'm in Burlington, or Girlington, as we like to call it, and he is in Wasaga Beach.
Wasaga Beach.
Wasaga Beach. Wasabi Beach. But yeah, so it's a distance, but we generally talk on Facebook Messenger, just sending each other stupid pictures, memes, crap like that all the time, and then literally I'll send him a message like right before we start the podcast. Like, we just recorded one last week, and I'm like, so what are we talking about? That's what it is now. And then that's how it goes. Then that's how the name kind of works. We just go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then decide when to end.
No, I like it. And it works out. I give hats off to you guys too for that. I don't remember what you titled it, but the drunken stupidity from your youth episode. I would not have had the balls to recap some of my stories, and I thoroughly enjoyed the ones you guys put out there.
Goy.
Yeah.
I think we have another one coming up where we're going to do just stupid stuff we've done. Doesn't necessarily have to be inebriated, but just stupid shit we've done. And because we had that was probably one of our most positive received episodes. Yeah. People loved that one.
It was so funny and so relatable to an extent. Some of the shenanigans were just like, I'm like, wow, it's impressive. It's impressive.
They do stuff really weird up north. Like, come on.
We just go to convenience stores and do whippets and then roll in the chip aisle.
I liked what do you guys, was it the 2x4 is what you guys call like a case of beer up there or something? Was that like the
2-4?
2-4. Yeah. I was like, man, that's smart. We should use that around here. Yeah.
That's not a thing down there, eh?
Yeah, not around us, but I appreciated it.
If we say that, they're going to be like, "You're from Canada, aren't you?" That's how
people
we'll
already think I'm from
here.
Canada with my weird, like drawn out, like vowel sounds. Like people have always assumed with my YouTube channel
your love
that I think
for
I'm
poutine.
Canadian. I do love poutine.
Doesn't love poutine.
So
poutine
good.
is so good.
I still haven't had it. Good. The name is a little weird to me, but
you're missing out.
Yeah.
It's just like fries with cheese, right?
Yeah, and
fries,
gravy.
cheese, and gravy. Yeah.
Well, like what kind of gravy? Like just
generally
like Thanksgiving
it's
gravy. Like
like a beef, like a beef gravy.
Yeah,
and then the cheese curds they're not like mozzarella. It's nice, like squeaky cheese curds, and it's awesome.
So, is there a staple in somewhere in your neighborhoods that you're like, this is the best place for poutine, or is it? It's just something you do at home.
Well, no, we have one in our area now. I've never been, but apparently the best place to go is Montreal for poutine.
Yeah, I've been to Montreal.
That's the mecca of poutine.
Their poutine is amazing.
Poutine is how it's pronounced.
And you have to look like a douche when you say it. Poutine.
Well, I got that covered. So.
But yeah, it's I believe the correct term is the poutine in Montreal is the tits. Like I've had it. It is awesome. They did have a couple places in Toronto when I lived closer to downtown that had them, and people didn't go because the problem is the place only served poutine, like nothing else, and it was good. Like their poutine was amazing, but so that's all you're serving. People are going to get tired of it. So,
see, we have a place. It's a food truck basically called the Snack Shack, but they do different types of poutine. So they did one where they do Thanksgiving poutine, where they'll put like stuffing on it and turkey and stuff like that and cranberries. He does one with crocodile poutine, where it's actually crocodile meat that he puts on it. I don't know where he gets it, but yeah. So
they're not native to Canada. You're kidding me.
It's not a crocodile, man. It's something else. It's a beaver that they've just painted to look like a crocodile. The Thanksgiving one sounds really good, but you realistically should be eating that one in bed. Like I'm assuming as soon as you finish that, you want to go to sleep.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, like I agree with you though, about the name. That's the only thing. Poutine.
Yeah.
It doesn't connect to the food.
I think when we were kids, we would say it in reference to something else. So, poutine. Yeah.
Something else you weren't familiar with? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Also didn't know what that was at all. It's still a mystery to me.
No, it's very good. If you have a chance to try it, it's awesome.
Yeah. We have a couple local places around here that do it, but I think the thing in our areas is always pulled pork, cheese curds, gravy, fries, but I don't know.
That sounds good too.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
I would devour that in a heartbeat.
Thanks for the invite, Ryan. I've never
I
had
can
it.
show you around. I can show
Really
you around.
appreciate it. We got local places. Oh, never been.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, I've got to go for no reason. Click.
Interview over. Well,
Man, it is true though. Everything we talk about always ends up with food, Chris.
I know, right? It's ridiculous.
It's
nothing
essential.
wrong with that. My wife had me on the keto diet at the beginning of this year, so like so many foods were off limits to me that I had to like. I love the Food Network, like diners, drive-ins, and dives, and like all that crap, and I had to quit watching it, and like all the YouTube channels because it would just make me so hungry, and I'm just starving, eating like
We
a
tried to
cheese
get
stick.
a keto sponsor.
I did try to get a keto sponsor.
They didn't bite.
I emailed Magic
Literally.
Spoon and was like, "Hey, I love your cereal, and I have a podcast." And the next thing I know, they sponsored the Giant Beast Cast, Pat Contry's podcast. So I gave them a really good idea and market to attack. But yeah, apparently we don't pull in Pat Contry numbers, but
You bastards.
that's all right. They got my money.
I've never tried that cereal.
If
I've never
you
even heard of
can't
it. So
have carbs or sugar and you want a cereal that doesn't taste like complete garbage, I highly recommend it, but it's like $10 a box. So
Ooh.
I stopped buying it a long time ago.
and you strictly just wanted the sponsorship so we could get the coupon code.
Mhm.
So we could
Yeah. I wanted a discount. That's
continue your
really
keto diet.
That's really all it was. I wanted the
Sickening.
discount.
Out of nowhere, then like it's like a Wayne's World where you just the box comes in front of him. And he's just like, I don't know. People just really sell out.
Right.
As I drink my sparkling water.
So good.
So that's a good segue. I thought since we had you guys on, I thought it'd be fun. Because with our podcast and your podcast, obviously we like to talk about media, movies, TV shows. You guys have that, random recommendation bit that I always enjoy. I thought it would be fun to focus on some Canadian pop culture. You guys probably have some gems that we haven't seen, but it seems like in the comedy realm, as far as TV and movies, Canada's been putting out some really good stuff lately. I think we can all agree that, things like Schitt's Creek and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the Puppers. Why can't I think of that?
Letterkenny.
Oh,
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny is probably like the greatest show out right now. I don't know how you guys
So
feel
you know
about
what's
it.
cool? If you go up to Sudbury, you can buy Letterkenny Puppers beer.
Wow.
There's a brewery up there, and they make a beer called Puppers.
I need that.
Now, I don't know if they had to get a deal from Letterkenny to do it, or if they just did it on their own. And it's a decent beer. But yeah, it's a brewery up there. I had some this summer.
Nice.
And then if you go to Hockley Valley, you can go to the Rose Motel, like Dinkus over here.
Yeah, I went there this past weekend. Got to go see the Rosebud Motel.
Oh, that's
we were
cool.
the only people there.
nice. Place
Yeah, it was
yourself.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. There's, we can go really old school. So, one of my favorite shows growing up is Degrassi Junior High or Degrassi High.
Oh man.
I know Kevin Smith talked that show up like crazy. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen it or not.
I've sadly watched a lot of it, and I guess it's all right, but I think it hit here so late in syndication that I don't know.
And I've never
show.
seen the newer ones, more the originals.
Okay.
I know the newer one. That's where Drake got his start, right? So you guys know
Yeah.
who Drake is. Yeah. So
Who's Drake?
He's the guy who plays Fortnite.
You can
Fortnite.
You can call him.
the
You can
Hotline
call him. You
Bling.
can call him on his cell phone now.
Hotline Bling Drake. Yeah. He's my dude.
But yeah, I don't care for Degrassi. No.
It's an interesting show, and that it was the way it was shot. There weren't a lot of shows that were kind of it was almost like a youth soap opera, but then it was kind of almost a little bit reality the way that it was shot. I don't know. It's interesting.
They touched on a lot of very sensitive topics that you wouldn't think a kid show would touch on, right? Like they did episodes on like a teacher sexually assaulting a kid. The one girl was like pregnant in high school. They did an episode on drugs and stuff like that. Like it was no topic was off limits.
Yeah, it was definitely more like real teenage life instead of just the cookie cutter like Saved by the Bell. Although I guess they did drugs on Saved by the Bell too, right? They got addicted.
Preppy.
I've never seen the
Preppy.
show, but after that episode aired, did they like go back and the whole cast is standing there and they're like, say no to drugs? Did they do that in Degrassi?
No, they did not.
They must have.
No.
They must have.
No.
I remember those things with like Family Matters and all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, guns are dangerous.
PSAs, yeah. No, like Degrassi was so big in Canada, they did a reunion show. Okay, so you guys know Trailer Park Boys. That's another one,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So J-Rock on Trailer Park Boys, his real name is Jonathan Torrance. And he used to host a show called Jonavision. I used to watch it. And it was basically a talk show, but for more kids. And he did a reunion show of all the cast from Degrassi back in the day. And they're like, okay, they went through all the cast. Where would you be? And where would you be? And like, there was one character that wasn't there because he had actually died and stuff like that. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, I have a secret reason for not liking Degrassi. I just wanted to check with my wife, but she actually dated somebody that was on the show.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the bully.
Oh.
Are you
So-
serious?
Yeah,
The bully that he ended up being gay, right?
Well,
on the
not
show.
for my wife,
No.
apparently. But yeah, they didn't date long. But my wife, that was one of the first things she told me when we got together. I'm like,
Maybe that was
it
her
Degrassi?
pickup line.
yeah, was it Degrassi or some other stupid show? Yeah, it's some chubby dude.
Yeah, he's the guy that
Dwayne,
beat Dwayne. Yeah, he beat up Joey Jeremiah.
the guy with the weird fro.
Yeah,
You can't
she
say
dated
that.
him, seriously?
Yeah, she dated him for like a little bit.
He on the show actually ended up getting AIDS and dying on the show. Well, he didn't die on the
Wow,
show, but
that's
he got
dark.
AIDS. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, see, like I told you, they touch on anything, so.
Well, yeah,
He was
fuck him.
he was gay on the show.
No, he was, I don't know, I think he ended up becoming, like he was a bully, and then the thing was that he was gay, and he was lashing out because of that or something. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure
Oh.
he ended up getting AIDS, so.
It's a little bit ironic.
Not in
that
real
they're
life,
like,
on the show.
The one gay character gets AIDS. Like,
Yeah.
ew. I don't know. Is that PC? Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
That's funny.
And back in the
And
day,
amazing.
everything kind of flew.
Yeah.
Everything kind of flew back in the day.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was watching The Office, and Kevin was talking to Oscar, and he's like, "Oh man, I can't go to jail, but you should go to jail. You would like it there." And he's like, "What do you mean I would like it there? Oh, you've never heard of jail? You would love it." And I'm like,
oh
if
gosh.
they tried to do that now, but just imagine like deadpan Kevin, like with this like cabbage patch doll face going, "You would love it." And I'm like, wow, I found it hilarious. But I'm like, if they did this now, they'd cancel The Office, all this stuff. So.
Yeah.
Well, just in preparation of this show, I was trying to remember the guy that was on Hockey Night Canada.
Don Cherry?
Yeah, Don Cherry. And then I looked him up and I'm like, oh, I guess he got canceled at some point. And it's like, well,
He did.
that's what do you expect from an 85-year-old man at some point, right?
He,
You know?
he said, "You people,"
Oh,
and he got
Oh my
canceled.
gosh.
yeah, live on the
Yeah.
air.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks
Yeah.
for saying that, Fraser. Now we're canceled.
Oh,
my gosh.
But yeah, he was towards the end of it though. There was a radio station I listened to in Toronto called Indie. I know you probably listened to them too, Chris. But they would always do things Don Cherry said, but they would slow it down and make it sound like he was drunk. So they'd take a clip from Hockey Night in Canada, and then they would slow the audio down. So he's like, you know, when he would do this. And he just sounded completely hammered, but it was great. I loved it. They would do like a 10-second clip of it, and it was perfect.
They do that with Doug Ford, too.
Doug Ford does that to himself.
yeah.
Well, that, too, as well.
I'm trying to think of other Canadian shows. We had Reboot.
Yeah.
Oh,
guys
yeah,
have
the
Reboot?
animated
That's
show.
from there? Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man, Reboot was so amazing. It
It was so good.
They just like pushed it so hard before the technology was ready
Yeah.
to make that look good.
yeah.
I think they
I
tried
love
to bring it
Reboot.
back.
They did. There is a reboot of Reboot.
And
I've
it
never
sucked.
watched it, though.
No, it was
but-
terrible. I was so excited for it. I'm like, and it was terrible. I know we had Beasties, but in the States it was Beast Machines, Transformers. They changed the name for some reason. I don't know why, but that's not Canadian. I'm trying to think what else we had.
Yeah.
The raccoons.
We did have
Is this like the monkeys, but they're
nope. It was a really bad.
It's a cartoon animation.
okay.
A really bad animated cartoon.
Yeah, it was a Canadian animation. It was a family of raccoons, and then the bad guy was Cyril Sneer, and he was like he almost looked like a pig, but his nose looked like there was that other show. Was it the Snorkels? It almost looked like it had a snorkel for a nose, but like upside down.
Okay.
Cyril Sneer. Yeah. And they almost looked that he was like the bad guy. He was like rich, like Scrooge McDuck, but he was a bad guy. But his son was friends with the raccoon, so that was where the conflict all was.
I don't know why they hated each other. It was a rich guy upset about trash pandas.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's my daughter's favorite thing, trash pandas.
I'd mentioned the Trailer Park Boys. That's pretty big in the States,
Yeah, we already
especially
said
with
Trailer Park,
Netflix.
Trailer Park Boys.
Even the animated series.
Kim's Convenience.
Kim's Convenience. I've not
You've
heard
not
of
heard
it.
of Kim's Convenience? No?
Kim's Convenience is pretty good.
I feel like every time you guys name a show, I'm like, I gotta look this one up. So
we
what
can
the heck are you guys talking about? I'm so disconnected.
So Kim's Convenience should be on Netflix, I think, in the US as well. Because
Okay.
I know Schitt's Creek is, so
Yeah.
Kim's Convenience should be. And it's basically a Korean family living downtown Toronto running a convenience store. It's
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
daughter. Yeah, it's really
It's
good.
good.
Now, to
Yeah,
be
it's funny.
fair, the last season just happened, and I didn't enjoy the end. It was a rushed ending where I guess the people that produced it got a better job offer, and so they stopped doing that show,
Oh,
and they had to rush to finish the season, so it wasn't very good.
it's a bummer. I'll have to check
Yeah.
that one out. Now that I'm looking at the pictures of it, I think I have maybe swiped past that. I'll have to check it out.
Hey, Chris, we can literally say anything we want as a show.
Have you heard about the Shooby da Bop show?
Derek's Jockstrap.
yeah.
Derek's Jockstrap is a great
I
show.
love that one.
Have you heard of the
that?
Red Green Show?
Oh my gosh.
There
The
you
Red
go.
Green Show
Everything
is
is fixed with
amazing.
duct tape.
So
They
that
don't find you handsome, they'll at least find you handsome.
that ran on like our like Prairie Public like
Yep.
crowd funded network down here, and like that thing ran every night on syndication. And like I swear, Red Green pretty much kept our public broadcasting open for about the better part of 5 years because they did every fundraiser. Everything was merch with the cast on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What a great show.
He was kind of Home Improvement before Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
Duct tape, though. Everything.
Yep.
Duct tape.
Was it Bill? Like Adventures of Bill was like the black and white bit, right? Like
Mhm.
or Bob.
I think so,
yes.
Those
That's
are
right.
great.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then like going on like food shows, because you're talking about that. You guys, like you said, you like diners, drive-ins, and dives. You got to eat here. That's the Canadian version of it. You got to eat here.
I just love that. Gotta eat here.
You got to eat here. It's pretty simple.
What should we call this
Very
show?
direct, yeah. Same concept though. You just like they just drive around Canada.
Exact same concept.
Okay.
The
The
host
best is
is a
when-
dummy, though. I don't like the host.
John Catucci. You don't like John Catucci, huh?
No, not at all.
Sounds
He's
like
the
he says
greatest.
poutine the wrong way.
He does.
You guys have like this guy on YouTube right now who's just like blowing up all over the place. Like, is it Ken or Kent or something? He drives around, like just eats it. Like he camps out in Wendy's parking lots overnight at truck stops. Getting
I've never heard
of
tons
this guy. I know
followers.
this guy.
Yeah, he's huge in Canada.
Well, he's getting huge on
on,
YouTube.
man.
Hold on, I gotta find this.
You just
guy.
got
This
shot
is
down by 2
embarrassing.
Canadians.
He's always going everywhere. I don't know
trying
where
to
he's
find
at.
something to be relatable.
KBD Productions TV. So yeah, he's got 500,000 subscribers, and he's basically blown up over the last year, just doing like living at Costco for 24 hours, and it's just all
What's it called?
KBD Productions TV. So yeah,
Okay, here
he's
we go.
blowing up, and he eats at those. There's apparently a big growth of like vending machines for pizza across parts of Canada for some reason, where you
Interesting.
I've never heard of this
like a
guy.
giant
Yeah.
vending machine. Yeah. Well, he's
Love
not
how
big in
anything
Canada.
that you've said is not working out for these guys.
I know.
Oh, man.
He just every thumbnail is just him in the trunk of his car.
Yeah. Well, the best part is he bought this van and he calls it stealth camping. and he just parks out in the open and camps. And I'm like, I even commented, I was like, isn't the key point of stealth camping that you're doing it where you're not supposed to, and they get mad if you
don't
get caught?
seen. He's got, the worst part is the toilet. You have to open the side door and everyone can watch you just sit there taking the shit. But realistically, if you're eating, nothing but Subway and KFC and McDonald's, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I've never seen this guy, but
Well, you have to check it out.
looks interesting.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
it's all right. If you watch like 3 or 4 of them, you'll be good. But yeah, I don't know.
What about Tom Green? You guys know who Tom Green is?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Who's this guy? I don't.
You got to
You
check.
don't
You
know?
got to check
He's
the
a
OR.
man with 2 testicles, right? Is that what I've heard?
It sounds about right.
At one point,
You got to
maybe?
check the OR.
I think
though.
you're
Check the
50%
OR.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he started in a rap group called Organized Rhyme.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah, he's got the good song. Check the OR.
Check
That's
the OR.
only
It's
song
actually a
they
good
have.
song, and that's
It's actually a
good.
really good song, but he
Yeah.
does this weird break dance, like the over exaggerated Running Man in the video,
What?
and he drops his pants.
I had
Yeah,
no
it's hilarious.
idea. Like our introduction
Yeah.
was MTV and like the Tom Green show.
Oh, okay,
Well,
yeah.
that's
So
on
yeah,
the
you
side,
guys
I
get all
guess.
that
Him with
stuff on
those
MTV.
stupid
yeah.
cow heads, though.
The milk
The
bags,
necklace
cutting
of
them
cow
open.
heads, and yeah, he was definitely. That was a late night you got to watch, and your parents would just sleep. Like, I'm going to watch this guy. And my mom came out once, and he's jump roping with rope of cow heads, and then he like smacks it open with this like an axe, and she's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Go away, leave me alone right now." My mom still brings it up. Do you remember when we were gone out, and then Mom and we came home, and you did the Freddy Got Fingered movie?
Oh yes.
Where he tied all the sausages. So we
Yes.
did that in the carport. So when my parents pulled in, we're like, huh, huh, and we have all these sausages going up and down. He's like, our neighbors thought we were weird for how long? And I'm like, that's what we do.
Oh, I still spout that line every time we have sausage around or a brats around the house. Daddy, would you like a sausage? It's just that's probably the greatest part from that whole movie. That was a train wreck of a film. I mean, you guys had some like classic comedies too, right? Like, like Schitt's Creek and stuff. I'm just thinking, like Second City TV.
I was gonna say SCTV. That was awesome. I used to watch that back in the day.
That bit with John Candy where he's like the damaged food repair guy is probably the greatest skit. I dropped this cake. What do we? Well, geez, I don't know. I guess we can put a little icing here. And the phone rings. Oh my God, it's an emergency. Get my things. There's a taco truck overturned on the freeway.
Yeah, John Candy was definitely a league of his own, man.
Yeah,
That guy was cool.
for sure. And then, well, Kids in the Hall, of course, is like,
Oh yeah, which is coming back.
no kidding.
Yeah, they finished
Yeah.
recording it, and it's coming back to Netflix.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that one. I know they had Corner Gas, which is another
Yeah.
show we did, but then they had Corner Gas animated. It's like they can't let that show go.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's done now, though. That one, yeah, I don't know. I don't get that.
A funny point about Corner Gas. I dated a woman that was a gas station attendant, and everybody called me Corner Gas. So my wife dated a celebrity, and I dated someone who worked at a gas station.
Corner gas.
Yeah, she had to drop her standards to marry me.
It's pretty sad. I'm trying to flip through to find new stuff that I'm like, what's another show? And I'm not finding anything.
You know what the problem is? I'll say a lot about Canadian content is there's so much of it. And the thing I find is the turnaround time with Canadian content. They don't give it a lot of shots. Like, they have a show that comes out for like a season and it doesn't catch on right away. Done. Show's done. Gone.
Yeah.
And then the show gets reworked and slightly different with a different name. And then you watch it like, it's not as good as the original one. And they never bring the original one back. But there's just so much Canadian content and it just never lasts.
You guys
The
have a
shows that
ton
do
of
last-
reboots off of like one season.
Yeah, pretty much. It's weird. It's weird how it works sometimes. Or you have people like that are not funny. Like they're funny in stand up. Like, do you guys know Russell Peters? The Indian comedian.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds familiar.
his stand up is pretty funny. If you've ever watched the movie Chef with Jon Favreau, he's the cop in Miami that like you want to take a picture and he keeps taking a picture with them eating the sandwich. He has some really killer stand up, but he was given a show called The Indian Detective, and it was so bad. It was so bad, and that show, I think it got 2 or 3 seasons. It was garbage.
With a name like that,
The
can't go
Indian
wrong.
Detective, a comedian who has no idea about being a detective, is the Indian Detective.
So do you guys have like a bunch, like obviously everything's overrun with reality shows. Are there like any specific like from Canada reality shows?
There was a show I used to watch, and this might fly up in your guys' area, and it was called Road Hockey Rumble. And it was 2 dudes. It was kind of, actually, there's another one I'll come back to in a second, but it was 2 dudes, and they would go somewhere in Canada. So let's say they'll go to Toronto or whatever, and somebody in the community they would talk to. I don't know how they came up with the groups, but they would form 2 road hockey teams, and they would have a road hockey game in that town. And I don't know if they would do like, oh, we'll take construction workers from this town and they each make their own team or something like that. I can't remember. And then the loser of the game had to have some sort of humility challenge against them when they lost. But it made me to jump ship there to an even better one is Kenny versus
Kenny
Spenny.
versus
Oh,
Spenny.
yes.
Yes,
Oh,
you just
yeah.
you said they have to have some consequence. I'm like,
Yeah, I know. That made me think of it right away. Yes. Kenny versus Spenny. If you have not watched that, that needs to be watched.
Yeah, that got a much
Kenny
larger
versus Spenny's
run, right?
hilarious.
Like up in Canada, because we got like I think 2 seasons by the time it got brought down to Comedy Central. But I think it had been in Canada for a while before then, right?
Yeah, they've got a lot. It's got a lot. It's hilarious. It's when my wife just gave birth because she had a C-section. I had to have like people come and stay just so she wasn't lifting too much or anything like that. In the last 2 weeks, my brother came, and I come home and my wife's like in pain, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I've been laughing so hard." I go, "Why?" She's like, "We've literally been doing nothing but watching the baby and watching Kenny versus Spenny all day." And I'm like, "So here I am busting my ass, driving these drunk people around, and you are watching Ken. I hate you guys so much. I'm gonna have a baby."
I love watching interviews with those guys now too, because they're working on like some new project, right? There was something going on this year, and they just genuinely cannot stand one another, or they're just
Pretty
really
much.
good at
Yeah.
staying in that character. But it seems very
So
uncomfortable.
Kenny is apparently very, very good with his money. Like he invested a lot, and he's done really well for himself. Where Spenny, like he's done really bad. Like he just blows his money on everything, and like he started following my old YouTube channel on Instagram. And he's like, "You guys got to come out to the show." And we can. And I'm like, "I'm not going to your show." It's like a music show where he sings. I'm like, "I'm not going to your show, dude." But like, just the 2 different ones is just like one guy did really well, and the other guy just pissed his money away.
That's crazy. That's too bad.
He spent it all on poutine. It was terrible.
I can't get over that show. There's that one episode where they do the drinking challenge, and then I can't remember who gives who the NA beer, or he's got NA beer for himself. But anyway, I just remember the punishment was like making the other one eat vomit, but it was so they ate the other person's vomit was the punishment, and like he cheated the whole time anyway. And I just gross. I can't do bodily fluids.
That's pretty much every episode.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's true. Yeah. How much meat
Every
can you
episode,
eat?
Kenny wins, and he just finds a way to win, which is perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And that was he drank non-alcoholic beer, and Spenny was drinking alcoholic beer, and he's like, "Every time I have one, you got to have one." And I think Kenny had like 16 beers of non-alcoholic beers. The other guy was just gone, just completely wasted.
It's amazing. You guys, any fans of Fubar, or am I the only person who likes those movies?
No, I love Fubar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Fubar.
So
Yeah.
those are free on Netflix. One of the actors has like the show and like a bunch of others, or both movies, a bunch of other stuff available. So I was just actually watching those not that long ago, and like it's amazing to me like how like rough of a movie the first Fubar is, and how like more polished the second one is. But you almost can't appreciate the second one unless you've also seen the first one. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, what was the reception of that like in Canada? I mean, were those both big movies, or are they both just kind of cult classics? Or
I would say cult classics.
Yeah, the first
Like-
one maybe a little bit bigger than the second one. I think the second one was really under the radar.
sure.
Yeah.
But the first one, I mean, they're those stereotypical quote unquote Canadian, like to the extreme, right?
Yeah.
Like
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, even that introductory scene where he's like heckling somebody at that sporting event, and he's just like, his heckle is, I recommend you try another sport. It's like, oh, that's the most polite insult. So great.
But like going back when you asked about reality shows, we did have a version. It was like Canadian. What was that? The Amazing Race.
Yeah, they have
And then
Amazing Race
Canadian-
Canada.
Amazing Race Canada. But everyone's so polite, nobody wins. They're trying to pass each other. Sorry. This doesn't work. I tried watching it. It was okay. I don't know. I find whenever they do a Canadian version of an already established American reality show, it's just like, would you rather have Coke or Diet Coke? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it just doesn't hit the same way the original show. Like if they did a Canadian Survivor, that'd be freaking cool. Put them up in up in the Northwest Territories, put them up there, just let them sit there, freeze their nuts off. Just constantly put honey on the ground and salmon to attract the bears, make the show more interesting. That'd be cool. But I guess Canadian Survivor never really took off. There was a Canadian version of, or they wanted to do a version of it, and they never did. It never, like, people auditioned for it and never went through, but it was like a Jersey Shore.
Oh.
And there was a Canadian Jersey Shore, and I can't remember.
What's the party beach in Canada?
It was called like the Beaches or something, because there's an area in Toronto called the Beaches. And I think it was that. It never took off. But like people were like auditioning, and it was hilarious because I would drive down like Much Music, and like people are all outside and dressed to the nines to try to audition for the show, and it never went anywhere.
I
Kinda wanna
just
see
picture
that,
like
though.
the trailer, like, you've seen Jersey Shore and now the beaches.
I'm happy it didn't take off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're still embarrassed that Jersey Shore did take off. So
Hey, don't feel bad. I think the Geordie Shore, which is the British equivalent, got like 6 more seasons than the Jersey Shore.
nice.
Have you ever seen that, Chris?
No.
The Geordie Shore?
No.
Everybody dances like this. And then on occasions, they'll throw the other arm up and they'll go like that. It's hilarious. You have to watch it. They literally dance in unison. Like, I've gone to tons of concerts, like Prodigy and all that stuff, and amazing time. But the one time we went, who did I see? It was Daft Punk. And I went and saw Daft Punk, and literally there was a group of 30 people all in front of me, and it just reminded me of like the Geordie Shore, and they're all going like this, and just bobbing their head to the exact same way in the exact same direction. And I'm sitting here, and at first I'm like, is this where I get taken over and become part of it? Like, am I getting assimilated into the group? Because they're all just bobbing their head in the same direction. But yeah, that's the Geordie Shore if you ever want to watch it.
Interesting.
Crooked teeth.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious. I gotta.
You know, it's funny. You
this
talk
out.
about the politeness, you know, the sorry thing. So we kind of have that in the Midwest too. And like, sorry is just a response that comes out of your mouth. And so I studied abroad for a semester in college, and I was in Norway, and my just automatic response, like if I'm in somebody's way or somebody needs something, and I'm just like, sorry. And they're like, you don't have to be sorry. And I'm trying to explain, like, no, you don't understand. I'm not actually sorry. We just say it as like a politeness thing. Like, I don't actually feel bad. I'm just trying to be, I can't not be nice. I'm sorry.
That's so true. Oh,
It's just an automatic response.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Or ope.
Ope.
Yep, just saying ope.
Is that a
Like
big
if you're in
thing?
the way of somebody, you just say ope.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You never said that?
I always use the, I'm just going to sneak by here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the one I always use.
No, but he does it really creepy. He goes like right up beside there. He goes, I just got to sneak by. Occasionally, if it's someone he knows, he goes, you smell different when you're awake.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I've never done the sneak by here. You just got to give them the old jab and the wang handles, the love handles. And so they move. That's the one thing. I've seen this post on social media tons of times, but I feel like it resonates with me so well, is the day they remove the mask mandate because of the pandemic. I'm terrified of that day because I've been low key telling everybody to F off. And they don't even know. Oh, fuck you, man. Go to hell, man. And they don't even know. And now the day they take it, I'm just going to sit there going, you man.
They're going to find you.
They're like, hey, it's that guy. I'm like, no, you man.
It's funny. I was listening to a podcast where a guy was saying the same thing, because he's like, I realize like over the last year, I've caught myself just walking around talking to myself underneath my mask. And how am I going to break that habit when the mandate's off? I'll be walking through
Put an
stores looking
earpiece
like a
in.
crazy person. Earpiece, yes.
Yeah, you put an earpiece
Bring
in.
back horrible memories. My first boss with this crappy job out of college, a district manager who always had that earpiece in. This is back when like those Razor phones were big. This is way back.
Oh.
And he'd always like be standing next to you, talking up. You'd engage in a conversation and you just point at his head like, all right, thanks. Got me again, you bastard.
But he really
new
wasn't
ones
on
are
the
even
phone.
harder.
He just was like, hey, I got one of these. You don't.
Just trolling me.
I'm awesome.
There wasn't even the earpiece on. It was just sitting there. Sorry, can't talk right now.
Oh,
the new
man.
ones you can't even see. Like you can't even see if someone has like a toque on or like a hat. You can't even see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had that happen to me.
Do you guys know what a toque is?
Yes. Yep. I don't know
Nope.
that toque is like
I
that
thought it
common
was a
around the
headdress,
U.S.
and I
But
was
yeah,
like, well, I don't know what goes on.
I am
a
aware
toque
it's a
is just,
stocking hat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beanie,
A winter hat.
like a winter hat.
A toque.
toque.
It's a toque.
You gotta wear a
Yeah.
toque.
You'd never heard toque
Yeah.
before?
Oh,
Really?
Oh, next time you come down, we'll get you a toque. We'll get you a two-for, and we'll go get some poutine, eh?
Sounds amazing.
What is it?
then.
A deck of smokes and a box of beer.
a deck of smokes.
That's what they say up north.
I've never.
No, you've never heard that? Ask
That's a little
Paula.
too up north for
Ask
me.
Paula. A deck of smoke and a box of beer.
So is the upcountry degen thing, is that a real thing or is that just a Letterkenny thing?
Don't ask me.
Yes.
Honestly,
I
I
don't know. I
haven't
don't know.
watched a lot of Letterkenny.
Really?
I did the first couple episodes, and when they did that episode on
Fart Book.
Fart Book,
That's terrible.
they kind of lost me.
You just got to
but
pretend
I
that one
do
doesn't
wanna go back.
exist.
I want to go back because that one was
I don't
like,
know.
what the hell?
An episode called Fart Book seems right up my alley. I'm sorry.
I mean, if
you
you-
might like it.
If you guys both got all the way through Auntie Donna, I think you can get back into.
hey,
Oh, I love
loved
Auntie
Auntie
Donna.
Donna.
So good.
Everyone I've
Yeah,
introduced
man.
it to is like, you are an idiot. I'm like, no, it's great. It's great.
My cell phone ring was for the longest time. There was a clip on YouTube called "I'm Doing a Poo," and he's like, "I'm walking outside. I'm doing a poo. I'm walking in the door. I'm doing a poo." And that was my ring. And sometimes I've left it on when I'm driving the bus, so I stop at a stop. It's like, "I'm doing a poo," and I'm like, "Oh God." But yeah, like I love their stuff. It just Christmas Pud, like YouTube episode is good. Everything on the
Morning
show is
Brown.
good.
Morning
It's
Brown.
coffee, you fuck.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
good.
yeah, I remember it. You sent that to me. I was like, why did you just send that to me?
I watched it like, because I heard it on your guys' podcast on R3, and then I literally found that highlight clip on Netflix, from Netflix on YouTube, and I sat in my office all afternoon just hitting refresh and just listening to that thing, dying every time.
The last time
It was
you
good.
sent it to me, I was heading into a board meeting, and then I was like, Morning Brown. Like, that's all that was in my head. And I was like, why? Go away.
So what are we going to talk about today's meeting? Oh, shit.
Yeah, literally.
About this new thing called Morning Brown. You've never heard of it.
I'm the
Oh,
kind of idiot
man.
who walks into meetings on a normal day and I'm like, what would you rather have, a meat-filled Pop-Tart or a fruit-filled ravioli? So I think I could probably walk into a meeting and drop the Morning Brown and nobody would be that surprised.
I would say fruit-filled ravioli.
Meat-filled Pop-Tart.
Oh,
No.
what filling?
that a Hot
That's the thing.
That's a Hot Pocket.
That's a Hot
yeah.
Pocket. No, dude, we have
But it has to be
pierogies.
frosted.
Still with
That's
the
the thing. He's
frosting
gonna
on the
frost-
top. Oh,
Yeah, you have to frost it.
No,
It'd still
I've
be
had-
all right.
sweet
like to
meat.
eat-
I don't know if I like sweet meat.
Like ham with the sugary glaze on it.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
well, I do
No.
like that
So
sweet
pineapple
meat.
frosting with like a ham puree filling, that could be good.
Yeah.
I think
You
sweet
guys are
potato.
getting too bougie
Yeah.
now.
I think sweet potato ravioli is the way to go.
only like the finest of meat Pop-Tarts with pineapple glaze. No, seriously, though. Fruit ravioli, done.
Yeah.
No problem. Hands
I
down.
feel like that would be weird.
No, so we call them pirohe because that's
I feel
Ukrainian,
like you're
but
just BSing me now.
no.
Chris is
Pierogi
like,
is-
pierogies.
pierogies. It's pierogies.
Yeah, I got
That's
it.
Ukrainian. We call it. But we have fruit-filled ones. We have cherry and blueberry,
Okay.
and they're very good. It's just you have to really, really want them. So a meat Pop-Tart just doesn't sound appealing to me. Even though it's a Hot Pocket, it's not a Hot Pocket. It's like sweet pastry.
That meat
Come
would
on,
have to
man.
just be pressed super thin to get into
Yeah.
that.
Bacon.
So you have to go get
Bacon,
Taco
yeah,
Bell
there you
ground
go.
beef.
Oh,
Taco
yeah.
Bell ground beef.
Yeah.
If that's beef.
It'd be like a bacon donut or something like that.
Well, people make those.
Or as we call them in the States, donuts.
Oh man. But yeah, I would definitely go back and give that show. What was the other show I remember? My wife didn't like, and she didn't watch it. It was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh,
She didn't care for it. And then I'm like, seriously, I just finished season 1. You have to watch. And it was like the 4th episode she didn't like. And then once she got past it, we're hooked on the show. Like it's so, I know the idea of like getting past that one episode, that hump.
yeah.
And then it just clears sailing.
That's how I got my wife to watch that show. Like she would like
Your wife
catch
watches
just-
Letterkenny?
No,
Oh,
no,
Brooklyn
I was
Nine-Nine.
talking about Brooklyn
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine.
Okay, I was gonna be like, that's surprising.
No, she's not that dumb. So she can't do the Letterkenny. I do the Letterkenny, and she'll walk by and she's like, "I just don't get this. I don't get it." And I'm like, "You don't have to get it, woman. Let me do my thing.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Can you put pants on? No, don't try to control me.
I'm my own man."
I remember when I was watching, when Game of Thrones first came out, and I was watching, it was first season when they had the Dothraki, like the love orgy with the killing and everyone's just raping each other. And I'm watching this and my wife walks by and she's like, huh, what is this? I'm like, it's Game of Thrones. It's a really good show. Huh. Okay. And then she just walked away and that was another show. I'm like, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. And when we got past that and the occasional Bahubi, she was good.
That happens with all the shows. Do you not remember that as a kid, you'll be watching whatever show it is? It could be an 80s comedy, and the scene where there's nudity, that'll be the scene where your parents walk in. It doesn't matter what it was. There's boobs on the screen.
Yep. So
Every time.
Yeah, it's always how it is. It's or like a load screen for a video game. You can be playing Grand Theft Auto 5 and it's like nothing. And then when someone walks in, it's the girl in the bikini with their boobs up to her neck. And you're like, what game are you playing? Don't worry about it. Be Bikini Simulator. It's going to be great.
Well, that's like the scene in, was it God of War 3, where you're like giving it to the girl and you got to pleasure her and stuff like that. My nephew was playing that, like, and his parents were like in the room while he's playing it.
Well, this looks fun.
You were sitting beside him. No, hit X. Hit X again. X. X.
I remember because I'm so old that like we still had the turn dial like cable boxes back when we were kids. You guys might remember those. And
Yep.
I went upstairs. We had one TV that had cable in the house at the time. And I wanted to watch Saturday morning cartoons. It was like 4 a.m. I was like, I'm going to go check. I had a buddy sleeping over and I left the thing on the dial and my parents knew it was like the nudie channel because we were watching boobs. It was great. Anyway, I heard him getting up. I shut the
only
TV off.
time that you can sit next to
Ran
another guy and not be
downstairs, and my
weirded out by
mom
that.
my mom confronted me like right away in the morning. She's like, "What were you watching?" I'm like, "Dinosaurs," and then immediately I just fell apart and crumbled. Couldn't watch. I was banned from Disney Afternoon for like a month. It was horrible.
Oh my god!
You figured you'd be banned from watching boobs. No, you can watch boobs, but no Disney.
No Disney for you. Take that Mickey Mouse
It's
out.
like making a kid smoke a whole pack, right?
Yeah.
You got to watch Baywatch now.
Yeah, and slow. Everything's in slow mo. Even Hasselhoff's in slow mo. I remember we were walking. It was me and my buddy Miles. We went to 7-Eleven to grab some food, and then we were coming back because like we were always the one that would go to the store and then come back and bring like snacks for everybody. And we were walking back, and we like as you're walking up to my friend's house, they were all in the basement, and we looked through the basement window as we were walking up, and they were literally just full on watching porn. And I looked at Miles, and I looked at me, and he's like, "We're just going to leave the food at the door, and we're going to go somewhere. We're going to go to a bar." He's like, "Yeah, it sounds like a good idea." So we literally went, bing, knocked ding the doorbell, left the food. We're like, this is not a party we feel comfortable sitting at. Like 6 dudes just sitting there on the couch, watching porn, eating taquitos. Oh, you're copying me, Chris, you bastard. I saw your drink.
I know. Twinsies.
Oh, you guys are drinking that. How do you do it? I hate that weird.
You don't like it?
I don't like any of that stuff. LaCroix. I don't know. It's just not.
This one is just sparkling lime water. This is great. This is
Okay.
fine. Lime is good. If any of the other flavors I've tried, the pineapple, weird.
No, they're good. Blackberry. is really good. Orange is good.
Okay.
Yep.
No.
Maybe I've developed a taste now because again with that keto thing I had to give up beer, so I've been drinking that. I guess I'm like a White Claw boy, I guess, and I drink like Truly and all that terrible crap.
I don't mind White Claws; they're good.
I've actually never had a White Claw.
Yeah.
Not once. I will try one eventually because I
I'm
drink
not a
this
frat
shit.
boy, but they're drinkable.
Yeah, they're an all right, healthier substitute. They get the job done if you want a little bit of a buzz. I mean, I love being around my family and children sober all the time, but sometimes it's nice to unwind.
Well, there's a really cool hack where you take half of the White Claw, you pour it out, and then you take your whiskey of choice and you pour it in the can. You just one, and you're done.
Whiskey water.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh,
Nice.
I remember it was one of the Hodgson's annual Christmas parties when I came up with the nice big bottle of Jameson's, like their special reserve that only comes out once in a while here. Picked it up, and I ended up downing the whole bottle at your Christmas party.
Neil had like 2 drinks out of it.
He had like 2 little drinks, and then the next morning she's like, his wife comes like, "What did you give him?" I'm like, "Some of my whiskey." Why? Well, he's not like, he's so out of it. And I'm like, really? He only had literally like 2 shots. Well, how much did you have? I'm like, the rest. And I held up the bottle, and she's like, oh. And I'm like sitting there playing with her kids, and I'm like talking to Chris and playing with his kids, and
Neil
Were you
was
still
huddled in the
drunk?
corner with the blanket.
no, I get a thing called hangover voice, where like my voice goes down like several octaves, and it just sounds like almost like a combination of Danny DeVito with the raspiness. It's like really deep, raspy Danny DeVito, and that's what I get. I get like occasional headaches and just horrible poos. Like the poos is terrible, but if that's all it is, I can deal with that. That's if I drink whiskey. If I drink anything else like super sweet, I'm done.
Yeah, I was always a beer guy. Like I just can't, like liquor just never sat well with me. I don't have the poo problem because everything I eat comes out as diarrhea. So I live this. That's in and out.
24/7 diarrhea.
Yep. It's a real thing.
Oh man.
But
AKA the snick
yeah.
kit.
Speaking of that, you guys were talking about how you keep in touch throughout the week with just some random, messages on Facebook and whatnot. I get a text from Biff over here last week freaking out because he had shit his pants in his car midday. And he's asking me what to do because this has happened to me a lot recently throughout my adult life.
It was a fart, but it wasn't a fart, You like to call
Yeah,
those.
I'm gonna be honest. If we're going there, I'll take you guys there.
Let's do it.
I'm ready. Hold on.
I hit
Let's
that.
hear-
I hit that Panda Express. I don't know if you guys have one of those, but
We have
they're
Panda Express
everywhere.
here, yeah.
Panda Express. All right. So enjoying a nice meal in my car, as I do sometimes. And I have air conditioned seats. And so they have these fans that blow the air up. And I'm just in a good place. It's like 90 some degrees out. And it wasn't even a fart. It wasn't a cough. It wasn't a sneeze. It just fell out of me. It literally just fell out.
Oh man. So I would give
And then
that.
I was like, man, something's warm down there. And then that AC fan is just blowing just right up, And I kind of like, adjusted myself and I was like, oh no, there's something real happened. And so I quickly grabbed my Panda Express bag and I put it underneath my car seat. So that's car seat being just a car seat, not a baby's car seat.
You don't drive around in a child's car seat on top of your car.
I don't sit in a
Thanks
car
for
seat.
clarifying.
It's my booster seat. Yeah. And so I was panicked because I didn't know what to do. And,
so he consulted the expert.
So I consulted
And I gave him the sound
Ryan, who
advice of never trust
craps
a
his
fart.
pants all the time.
Yeah,
Never
like
trust
always
a
assume
fart.
the fart will betray you, I think was my answer.
Yeah, that was. We lost a good pair of pants that day.
Rip.
Not getting them back. So that was my last week. So
Which is
My
hilarious because you're
wife
the guy
and
that
kids laughed at me when I came home, and I'm like walking, just like waddling in the door, and they're like, "Are you okay? Did you throw your back out?" I was like, "No, Daddy pooped himself."
You should have said, yes, I did throw
threw
my back out.
Totally did. It's like walk in the door. What happened? Dad had a poopsie daisy.
Yeah, oops.
I'm just amazed you didn't throw up on yourself because you gagged at like everything.
Yeah, so I was a mess. So I did throw up. So
Did you?
yeah, I have this weird gagging thing, and this like any bodily fluids, any germs, I'm just a wreck. And so I am in my car gagging while this. I mean, most people would just shut off the air conditioned seat and, you know, just let it sit for a bit, but I didn't. And so it's still just blowing around my car. And yeah, it was a gagging
how far
mess.
did you have to drive from where you were to your house?
Yeah, I had 15 minutes. So my butt was chapped by the time.
I was gonna say, did the ACCs didn't like somewhat make it cool? You like hope the God it froze it a little bit, you know?
I was like, the heated seats weren't definitely coming on. It was just this weird, like weird hot cold sensation. There was a weird smell of Chinese food, not because of what I did, but what was still in the car.
Well,
and
that was my other question. Did you finish your meal?
no, I literally like chucked it over to grab the bag, and I sat on a grocery
And now you
sack
need to go leave a review on Panda Express's website.
Do not eat. It
5 stars.
just comes out of you.
So good, I shit myself.
Literally just shot out.
Yeah, my wife's like, so was it a fart? I was like, no, it was nothing. It was just fell out of me. So I don't know how that even happens. It's never happened in my life.
I love that it's you for a change. This is refreshing for me.
Yeah, it wasn't khakis, so I guess that was a win. But it was definitely noticeable in those blue jeans.
So
see, now I'm going to be terrified now. Because farting on the bus is one of my great joys. Yeah. And now if it just falls out of you,
it's something that comes with age that your just colon can't hold anything back. It's the dam that has a leak.
You got to start doing some Kegels.
I was going to say, you got to do some Kegels. He's sitting here running the podcast, he goes,
he's slowly getting an inch taller each time.
Yeah.
His face starts turning red.
I should probably look that up to see if I should do that. I should probably go to a doctor.
Doctor, my butthole is very loose and I don't know why.
There's something weird going on back there.
And then he's like, were you eating Panda Express? Oh my God, yes.
We've narrowed it down.
That'll be $500.
Yeah. So there. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
I just wanted someone else to share one of those horrible stories.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So I will not go back to that place.
I mean, that would probably ruin Chinese food for about anybody, I would imagine.
It was that orange chicken. Although I would like to go back to Mr. Wok. So I'm not scared of Chinese food. I'll do it again. Just not that place.
Just not Panda Express. They lost your money.
I mean, literally an express. It just right out.
Both times.
So, yep.
I knew, talking about poop. Poop.
I love where these conversations go. This is great.
I know. So I knew my group of friends, obviously. Like, I didn't know Chris till I was like significantly older. But my group of friends, we all partaked in other substances. Mine was mainly marijuana and booze and stuff. But they got into tranquilizer. And I remember they had it, and we're all sitting there, and, you know, I'm high laughing. They're all like kind of chilling. And the one guy's like, uh-oh. And I go, what? I have to poop. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the bathroom's right there, dude. Don't worry about it. Go to the bathroom. He's like, no, this is going to be future me problems. And he literally just right beside me, full on, just shit his pants because he didn't want to get up. And he just went, and just the low key grunting just shit himself. And I'm like, okay. Well, that is something I've always wanted to know. This is what you sound like when you're shitting. My bucket list checked off right there. Perfect. But I don't think I've ever had a issue where I've done that. I'm trying to think if I've pooped myself.
I would say I've maybe been close where it's like, okay, I got to go, and you're holding it in, and
Sweating it out.
Yeah,
There we
sweating
go
it, yeah.
again.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, if I don't get there in the next couple seconds here, I'm gonna have an accident.
Yeah.
Trying to
Gosh, you guys are so lucky.
I'm like once every quarter, probably. At least 3 times a year minimum, I shit myself. That's not a joke. That's fact.
I always laugh at that, and you're like, no, seriously.
This is
I
real. This is my life.
Yeah, I don't buy gray underwear anymore.
Yeah, I buy packs of, the Hanes or whatever, and they've got the color spectrum. Anything that's gray, throw it immediately away. It's just not going to work.
All black.
Yeah, they don't sell all black. It's a problem.
No.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, we talked about it in an episode. I don't know how early it was, but I did one where we went to a cottage and I shit in a toilet and the water wasn't running because it was like it shut off. So then I just went back to bed. I put a piece of toilet paper over top of it and went back to bed. And then I was woken up by a girl screaming, I can't poo on top of poo. And I come up and I'm like, what happened? Oh, someone shit and they didn't flush the toilet. And I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Who would do this? And literally I had the whole group and the guy thinking that I convinced this guy, Sasha, that he shit. He was so drunk and he went and took a shit. And I convinced him that he did it and and everyone believed that he did it. I'm like, you were the mystery poo, dude. I saw you go to the bathroom and you were in there for an hour. He's like, I was pretty wasted last night. It could have been me. And at the end of it, he was apologizing. I'm really sorry for doing that shit. I'm like, that's really uncalled for, man. And then 6 years later, I sent them all a text. I'm like, it was me. I did the poo. And I don't talk to them. I haven't talked to them for 6 years. It was me, you bastards.
I've had so many of those moments, like Along Came Polly. Is that the movie where
Ben Stiller?
Yeah, Ben Stiller, and he borrows her bathroom and then clogs the toilet, and then can't find a plunger. I've had a couple of those situations occur.
Dumb and Dumber is the better reference to use.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's a great scene.
Turbo Lex.
Oh, that's the worst. We've done Russian Poulette. Have you guys ever done Russian Poulette?
Go on.
You've piqued my interest. So Russian Poulette is you make brownies, and several of the brownies have laxatives, and you put on a lazy Susan and you spin it, and everybody takes a brownie and you eat it, and then you find out who took the laxative and go to the bathroom and take a shit. It's Russian Poulette.
Nice. Results would be inconclusive for me, I think. So ending the same either way.
I was like, I don't know, but I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
If anything, it might heal you. It might have the reverse effect where you're like, oh,
I've never
interesting.
tried that.
Laxatives just kind of hold everything together for me.
You're just sitting there. He's like, I haven't pooed in 3 weeks.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh.
We went down the rabbit hole.
I love these rabbit holes. Yeah.
I can rein everybody in here for a second.
Do it.
I wanted to bring this up. So, okay, and this is going to go back to your guys' expertise, video games. Have you guys seen that new video out? I shared it with Fraser. I don't know if he watched it, about the guy talking about WADA and all the grading games and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's some shady shit going on.
I watched 10 minutes of it, and then I fell asleep on the couch.
It's
Nothing
crazy.
about the video. But.
Yeah, I feel like we all the collectors kind of suspected, because everyone was kind of like, this doesn't make any sense. Even the people that knew, that, and then to kind of see this all come into light, it's just like
we have a couple of sellers in our area that have sent games down to WADA to get rated and bring them back. And then I don't know who they're selling them to, because as a collector, I have no interest in buying a graded sealed game.
Right.
Maybe if it was like the game from my childhood, let's say Legend of Zelda or something like that. Yeah, okay, maybe. But I'm not spending 10, 20, 30,000. Well, now it's whatever, $1 million. Like, it's all the rich people. Yeah. It's an investment, and I don't like it.
It pisses me off.
It does.
Right, especially when it's all been manipulated too, the way it has. So.
Oh, it's dirty, right? Like, and they show the example of the coin back in the 80s when collector coins, and then there was the big spike in the prices of them, and then the big crash. Like, it's gonna happen. It has to.
It was the same guy running it.
Yeah, the same guy. Yeah, which was even worse. You got to finish that video, Fraser.
I'm going to. It's nothing against the video. I was literally just, the couch is a snooze button on my head. If I have a really big blanket and I put it on, I was waiting to come record. And I'm like, sorry, Chris. It was a good video, though.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's going to take a bath on that. You know, it's where it sits now, and it's just kind of like an inside group driving it up. Like, that's bad enough. But, you know, somebody innocent's going to buy, they're going to invest thinking they're onto something, and they're going to spend like 10 grand on a game that will become worthless, and it makes you sick.
Like, I really hope that video gets out there and more people see it. I don't know the YouTuber. I've never seen him before, but he's got enough subscribers, and he got details from Pat Contry, and then there's another guy as well that kind of spoke on it and helped him with a few things. And like that one guy that they talked about where he's the big comic book collector, he'll take a comic book that's graded, keep it in his collection for 3 years, take it, throw it up on the auction site, and then sell it to himself, buy it back just to push up the value, and then just recycle, repeat, keep doing it over and over again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
I don't
should
know
be
how.
jailed.
Yeah, somebody's got to go to court in that whole fiasco.
The sad thing is it'll just be, pay these fines, and then that's it. And then they're going to do it again in another 5-10 years on another topic or another collectible.
It was happened with Magic the Gathering. It happened with comics. Like, it's just, they'll find something else. It'll go something else. It's like you said.
Yeah. It's just disgusting though, because, you know, those headlines capture everyone's attention. So now it ruins it for the people like us who just want to buy like the loose copies. You know, now every garage sale is going to have, you know, $100 on every NES cart you see, and nobody needs that.
Rogue Squadrons for $20, Chris. Fucking Rogue Squadron. People I love that. They're like, they think they have gold. I heard that, Chris. That was a rough burp. I saw your face too. You're like, oh my God. But no, the Nintendo tapes.
Duck shoot games.
Duck shoot games. I've got some duck shoot games. Like, oh, okay. Whatever.
Tender tapes.
Yeah, man. When you see like the original Mario with Duck Hunt and they're trying to sell it for $25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two
You
games
throw that
on there,
money
though.
down.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
No, it's just,
yeah.
yeah. That's how it is, though. I remember, and we talked about it in one of our episodes too, is Buns, which was a trading group through Facebook, and you literally just put up stuff you were looking for and stuff you had for trade. And at the beginning, I got in right when it started, and I was making a killing. I literally traded a girl 5 bus tokens for like a stack of 20 GameCube games, like good GameCube games. The Majora's Mask, like the collector's edition, all that stuff. I got tons of stuff. And then it was another one. I'm like, oh, what do you want for these GameCube games? She's like, I don't know, 6-pack of yogurt. I'm like, okay. So I was like getting yogurt. And then like, what was the other one? I went garage selling with Chris and I bought a set of samurai swords. And I paid $5 for a set of 3. They were loose as all shit. So I took them apart. I fixed them. I tightened them up, put it all back together. And then I traded it to some dude for a Xbox 360 and like 40 games. And then I traded that Xbox 360 and 40 games for a brand new 3DS Galaxy 3DS with like 15 games. And I sold that for like $400. And I'm like, but like that was like getting rid of stuff you didn't want. And then I ended up selling the GameCube games for a camera. So stuff here moves quickly in my house.
So you guys both collect games then? It's not
so much me anymore. I did.
Okay.
The GameCube was my system that I collected for, and then it was just I was running out of space. Like I was living in an apartment for a long time. We just got our house now, like a year now. Actually, we've been in it. Oh, my stomach's grumbling. But yeah, I got rid of a lot of stuff. The only thing I collect for is like the systems I currently play on. So PS4, Switch. I have like a couple pieces like Chris gave me that's on my shelf right now. Atari's ET.
Oh yeah.
And it's just something I'm going to keep. As you can tell, I have like Turtles. Like I'm a huge Turtle fan. So I have like the Turtles games. I'll look to eventually upgrade those to maybe with like a complete inbox, just to have. because I even have like my original. Hold on. I know people won't be able to see it, but my original VHS when I got when I was a kid of Ninja Turtles and the nice yellowed, like these are mine when I had, but like I kept everything Turtles except for the stupid figures that are worth a shit ton more now. But but that's what I more collect is like stuff like that.
Sure.
Now,
so what are your thoughts on those more recent Turtles movies? Get into those at all, or
I watched them.
Yeah,
I like even like Avatar: Lost Airbender, and I watched that piece of garbage. So it's one of those things. It's like I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. Like my wedding ring is got the Green Lantern logo engraved on it, and I watched that movie. But the Turtles movies, for what it was not a Turtles movie. It was just Michael Bay,
right?
Seeing Bebop and Rocksteady in the second one live action, awesome. The guy that got to play Shredder, I thought was pretty good too. Didn't care so much for Arrow as Casey Jones.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Megan Fox. Although she was good to look at, she didn't strike me as an April O'Neil.
Yeah, gotta have the red hair.
Yeah, the Turtles themselves I thought were okay. Like they didn't look bad. It was like kind of bringing them to a modern thing. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. I didn't classify it as a Turtles movie. And then Tony Shalhoub for some reason as Splinter.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of weird. But yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't a Turtles. Like I don't classify. There was an animated one.
Just the TMNT, right?
TMNT. I thought that was great. I love that one
too.
I heard Seth Rogen is doing an animated one. Yeah, an animated Turtles movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
I don't know. Like, I give it a shot. If I gave the Michael Bay ones a shot, I'll give that a shot.
That's fair.
As long as it's not Seth Rogen Turtles, like where they're just getting stoned all the time and eating pizza.
Seth Rogen is doing Leonardo's voice, like, hey. I'm like, God damn it, Seth. Okay. Now we're going to do best turtle. I'm Leonardo all the way. But best turtle and why?
I go Donatello mostly because in every video game he's got the longest reach, or I like to believe he does with his weapons.
He's got the biggest staff.
Yeah.
It's always that, eh?
I'm Donatello too. He's the nerd. I'm the nerd.
I'm Michelangelo. I can't even say it. My Jello.
Almost got it.
My Jello. Yeah, I'm Mikey all day.
Yeah, I'm Michelangelo as well. He was always mine.
That's because I'm life of the party.
Party dude.
No one's Raphael. No one has anger issues and wants to punch everybody. Raphael.
No, nobody cares about Raphael.
My wife always
here,
says Raphael is her favorite, and I was like, yeah, but he's an asshole. She's like, well, I like assholes. I'm married to you, so I'm like, okay.
Oh,
that's true.
So if you guys haven't heard about the comic, but it's called Last Ronin, and it's a Ninja Turtles comic written, and there is some art from the original artist in it, and it's about 3 of the brothers are killed.
Oh.
And 1 turtle's left, and he's the last Ronin. And I'm not going to spoil who it is because they did say who it is, but he uses all of his brother's weapons. So he uses every weapon, so that's why you don't know he is. His bandana is black. He's gone away and he's trained. And as he's going, they touch on that he's a mutant, and his mutation is furthering as well. So he's getting bigger, he's getting stronger, his healing is faster, and it is awesome because every comic, they will touch on the present and who the last Ronin is, but then they'll go back onto how each brother died. Okay. Each brother died differently, and it is so good. I didn't think I was going to like it as much. I'm like, why do I want to read a comic about my favorite guys die? It is good. It is done so well. Really, really well. So if you guys, if you have an inkling to read any comics, I would highly recommend The Last Ronin.
Interesting.
Check that out.
Sounds a lot like
good movie
Old Man
too.
Logan or so.
Yeah, that's why. That's the vibes I got off of it. Old Man Logan. Old Man Logan was so good.
It was a great movie.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have anything. It was just a brain fart.
So it comes at both ends with you then.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yes. I'm just spewing everywhere.
I'm a mess.
So now we're into movies. I'm gonna do something here. Have you guys seen the Spider-Man trailer that was just released?
Oh, yeah.
Caught like a few seconds of it, but not the whole thing.
Oh my god! we gotta watch it. It's so good.
So I have not watched any of the new Spider-Man. I haven't seen any of the.
None of them?
No, I
They're
saw
good.
the last ones. I saw were those Sony ones. You know, the previous couple.
Andrew
Oh,
Garfield.
no, you need to go watch them.
Yeah.
They're good.
Have you seen the old ones? Because that might play in the new ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sam Raimi ones.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi ones are so good.
Sam Raimi's amazing.
Oh, so good.
It's worth it for the Bruce Campbell cameo.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to say anything now. Well, do you guys like bread? You enjoy slices of bread? We're changing the topic because if they haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. It's so good.
It's a trailer. Can you really spoil a trailer?
that's
Yes,
fair.
there is some things that
I
in
thought you
there.
were talking about the band at first. I was like,
but I guess
Brad,
no. Yeah,
whoa.
he needs to
Yeah.
see the movies.
He doesn't
before-
need to see the
yeah.
movies. You can watch the trailer and still go, pokey nipples from being excited from it. It happens. It's
You
a
get
good.
the chills down the spine.
It's good. Like all I'll say is, it hits all the nostalgic notes. Like certain things happen, you're like, ooh. It's really good.
Especially that last 10, 15 seconds.
hmm
Yeah, it's really good. I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the and Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's just
I'm
fun
looking
to
forward
say.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think the original is going to be in it?
I hope. I really
Yeah.
do. I hope
think-
it is.
I think so.
they'd be wasting it if they didn't.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much hype about it that if they didn't do it, I think they'd be stupid.
Yeah. I would
And
think,
rumor is it's all three. Like it's the original series, it's the Andrew Garfield series, and
Oh.
then the current one. That's the rumor I'm hearing.
What?
Could be
So-
completely wrong. Marvel's been known to do that too, right? They'll release something and then, haha, you're stupid, and completely change it.
So is there
like-
time traveling or different dimensions in this one or something I'm picking up on?
Multiverse.
Oh, it's the multiverse. Okay.
Have
So-
you watched any of the shows? WandaVision, Loki.
I watched Loki. I tried to get into WandaVision and kind of fell off of it. I mean, I
It's
know
one of
like,
those
it
hump
changes.
shows.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a hump show. Loki was good.
Loki was good. I thought that had a pretty good ending too and build up.
That's what leads into this.
Okay.
the whole the whole separate multiverse stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is so good. Like when I was watching that with Ashley, my wife, and I'm like sitting in the chair. I'm like, they're doing it. And she's like, yeah, they're doing something. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. And I told her this afterwards, like even like when we did the episode where we talked about the Marvel franchise, where Chris watched literally all of the Infinity Saga. It's crazy if you think about it. If you watched this right when it first came out, how old were we? This is like a 10-year saga, right? So it's interesting that you go that long, really, to get a payoff at the end, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Marvel knows how to do it. I even watched that What If. I started watching the What If one. It's
Yeah, that
not
one's
bad.
interesting.
Yeah, I watched what's the last one I watched? Well, the second one, the Black Panther as Star-Lord. That was pretty good.
So like when they brought the Quicksilver guy into the WandaVision show,
Mm-hmm.
I had the same they're doing it, and they completely said no, we're not. So I'm a little bit more skeptical on the Spider-Man, but we'll see.
Well, you got to figure, I mean, obviously from the trailer, the first one, you're good, right? Especially with how it ended.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the second one, it was all rumors that they're including it. But because it's multiverse, you got to think they would do it. I don't know.
Well, they already did something similar with Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Which
Mhm.
apparently the rumor is Disney wants to buy that franchise to be able to include it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I love that
Very
movie.
good movie.
That's actually my
I feel
favorite.
like you guys are speaking in a lot of code right
I
now.
think Into the Spider-Verse, I think, is like my favorite piece of like superhero media. Like it was just so perfectly done.
Yeah, very good.
I don't
Just
know.
know the last movie I've seen is RV, so I got nothing. We're good.
Oh, man.
Well, it makes sense. The rolling turd, right? It works.
That's right.
I like, I haven't seen it yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to love the new Suicide Squad. I like James
Sure.
Gunn. I don't really, like, Guardians of the Galaxy was good, but I like James Gunn even like when he was in Trauma. And
Okay.
like,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff, right? So, I just think he's got a mind for doing stuff like that, and I'm really looking forward to when we can finally watch it. Like I could go see it in the theater right now, but with a 9-month-old, I can't just go, okay, Stanley, which is our dog. Our dog's name is Stan Lee. See, I'm a nerd. I go, Stanley, you watch Nathan. Nathan, you watch Stanley. Ashley, let's go. So I'm waiting for that to come on a streaming service that we can get, because we can't get HBO Max in Canada yet for some reason. Yeah. Not allowed to get it. We try and the hand gets slapped. We can't get WWE Network.
Do they just not like money or what? I don't understand.
No, I don't know what it is. And
how can you not get WWE Network? We can get that.
Yes, but I don't have a cable provider. I haven't had cable for if I wanted to get it just on its own, I can't get it. I have to go through Bell or go through Rogers and then get it. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather just make a fake account and log in and watch WrestleMania than delete it afterwards. But yeah, so I'm waiting. It's going to come to Prime or something.
For sure.
So I'll see it at some point. It's not. Chris said it in the last episode. He's like, it's going to come to Disney Plus. It is not coming to Disney Plus because this is DC, sir. It is DC. My friend.
That one is pretty violent too. I will say it's better than the last one. So you got that at least.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. Movies wise.
You guys into the Fast and the Furious movies at all? Because
I feel like you always. This is like.
Well, I mean, it was like it was the last 3 months of my life was like watching them all.
The Fast and the Furious
it's
movies.
All about. I know a shit ton about all these family memes happening.
Yes. So yeah,
so good.
I rewatched all those.
Of it.
Yeah, all those with my family, like my kids 9 and 7. We watched. They were showing them all for free in our run up to the release of the new one. So like we dedicated like 2 months to just every Friday watching one, and got to see the train wreck of what is it? 9 is the one that's now, right? Like that is just an abomination. That is.
I think I've only seen. What is one? And is 2 Tokyo Drift or is 3 Tokyo Drift?
3.
So I saw only seen 1 and 2. That's it.
Okay.
I think I've seen 1, 2, and 3, but I don't remember 3.
And I keep wanting to call it Calvin and Hobbes, but I saw Hobbes and Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
It
mind
would have
that.
been better if it was Calvin and Hobbes in the movie.
That's a crossover that somebody needs to make.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Hobbes.
But
I've seen
Who would play
RV.
Calvin.
but I'm like,
No.
I don't know.
Review bra,
Who'd play
maybe?
Calvin. No, Michael Cera is Calvin.
Oh, Seth. What's his name? Seth. That guy. Seth.
MacFarlane?
No.
Rogan.
No. The one that does Robot Chicken.
Oh,
Green.
Seth Green.
Yeah.
Seth Green. There you
That can
go.
work.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's actually you.
And then instead of like an animated
Just a real
cat,
tiger.
yeah, it's just like the Wilford thing where it's just like a person in a suit. Just looks terrible.
Yeah, I would watch that shit because it's all in his imagination, right?
Yeah.
It's like, let's do this. Oh man!
And then at the end, he's just getting
mauled.
Eaten.
Yes.
Missing an arm.
The synapses are shutting down.
He's passed out.
Oh man, I would still watch it.
For sure.
James Gunn directs it. Perfect. Done. Star wipe and we're out.
He'd have to piss on something every episode at least once.
Yes.
You'd have the car companies competing to be the vehicle on the street that's getting pissed on.
Oh man,
That's
and
great.
it'd be meta too because he would be pissing on a car that has the little decal of him pissing. And meta.
Love it. Oh man. Well, this has been all over the place and quite enjoyable, but I suppose you guys are later than we are, so I should probably wrap it up and give you your time to relax and head off to bed. But where can we find the podcast? Where do you guys publish that thing for everyone who's listening?
On the internet.
Yes. Good
We
answer.
have that. We have that here.
Apple. I'm assuming it's Apple Podcast now. Google Podcast, Spotify, Podbean, other things. I'm assuming. I'm trying to remember where I posted to. I'm really bad with this.
It sounds about right.
Is Spotify free to post to now, or do you have to pay to get on?
You have to pay because if you don't, if it's free, it's free, but you're limited to the file size that you put on.
Okay.
And our episodes vary. So it's like one episode will make it, the other episode won't. So I just said, nah, nuts to that. That's why we got rid of Zencaster too, just because you have to keep, like, it was free.
Yeah.
But when you record with MP3 over the distance, we kept losing audio. So we'd be talking and then it would just cut out random pieces of our audio. So we upgraded so we could record in WAV and we didn't have any issue, but it was every month, it was like $24. Right.
Yeah.
So we got rid of that. But that's about it, I think, where he goes. Then Chris is on OnlyFans. And
that's getting taken away now.
Yeah, October, you're going to have to find a new platform, Chris.
Yeah, apparently there's one out there, but
Fansly or something. No, Pornhub, whatever. On Twitter, and I'm on Twitter, but he's more active on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm active, very active on Twitter and Instagram at Nintendo Hodge, and then YouTube at Nintendo Hodge. Fairly active. I just recorded and posted one of my Flipper Flop episodes. So that's up there now.
On Pornhub.
Flipper Flop.
Yeah, I am terrible with social media. I'm so bad. I think, what was the last thing I posted on the R3?
If anybody needs to get in touch with Fraser, they just go through me.
Really? He's my liaison. What was the last thing I posted on R3? I'll tell you right now. Once I open it, I have like 3 Instagrams and I don't go on.
It was probably a respond to me.
No. It was a post I did May 14th, 2020, and it was about an album called Karens with Attitude. Do you remember that, Chris?
I think
we had
so.
an episode talking about Karens, and it's Karens with Attitude. And so that was my last post. So I'm horrible with social media. So yes, talk to Chris. He'll talk to me, I guess.
Nice. Well, for anyone listening to us, I mean, I highly recommend the podcast. It's a great listen. Chris's videos, the Nintendo Hodge stuff are always enjoyable too. Now you're collecting NES hardcore too. You've piqued my interest again. I've been watching a lot more of those, and it's good to see. But thanks for coming on the show. Had a great time, and I guess Biff, your job. Take us out.
I got this, guys. Do we have any emails to read?
No. I'm not even going to look.
Did Ariana Grande ever reach out to us?
Areola Grande did.
That's what he called Areola's Grande. Huge. That's why she wears long skirts. It's like whole upper torso.
So her people never reached out. Interesting.
Sorry, yeah.
All right. Well, we're still waiting on that email, but if you guys want to join the email fun, make sure you email us at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook. We don't have Instagram, so don't bother there. We don't have OnlyFans that I'm aware of. Ryan?
No comment.
No comment. There we go. Go look for it, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, you can find all things Weekend Rental at Weekend Podcast.
So close. So close.
It's Patine.
Poutine.com. As always, friends, be kind. Rewind.
All right.
Give me that poutine.
Poutine or Pootitan.